Hello, everybody. Welcome to the All British Motocross podcast from the Dirt Hub Network with myself, Ben Rumbold, and of course, the Dirt Hub founder and owner, Paul Ooten. This week, we are focusing our build-up now, coming up towards the opening round of the British Championship at Hawkstone Park on the 15th of March. Really looking forward to that. And for sure, if you missed your dose of Hawkstone at the start of the year with the cancellation of the International, please make a date in your diary, 15th of March. The weather's bound to be better. The sun's already shining in my window here, Paul, and we're looking good. So, yeah, for sure, the opening round of the British Championship is going to be a cracker. And we start our build-up this week. We're going to talk about the 125cc Championship, the contenders coming into that one. Next week, we'll talk about the MX2 class. And, of course, we'll then have the MX1 preview before the actual event itself. So we're building things up over the next 3 weeks, getting this British Championship hyped up, ready to go. And of course, we've got two of our top contenders in this 125cc Championship ready to speak to us. So we'll have Hayden Statt and Drew Stock, riders who were second and fourth in last year's 125 Championship. We've got both of them here with us to talk just a little bit later in the show. But in the meantime, I'm joined by Paul Ooten. We're going to run through the Championship contenders coming through. This 125cc class, always a good one, Paul.
Yeah, and I have to admit, last year's championship was a big success, sort of all round, really. I think Paul Irwin and the team, obviously, don't forget the team because there's a big team that worked with Paul and Neil and the ACU and all the clubs. Great success, but I think the biggest success in my book was the 125 class. I think it brought to life a lot of riders we wouldn't necessarily know about. And I think it really has given, we've seen this in registration. So there's way over 50 riders registered for the 125s. So I think, it's really captured the imagination. There's a lot of riders stepping up, as we're going to talk about, from the 85s that maybe are stepping up a year or so earlier because they want to be part of this. They want to be part of the live streaming. They want to be part of the, the British Championship. The profile of it has really been elevated, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I think the other thing about it is it's so open because there's always new kids coming up. It's like a big conveyor belt of talent coming through, and I like when we sort of discover someone new, someone that just comes out of the blue. Sometimes it's because they've grown, because some of these are real young kids, and some of them have just suddenly take to the 125 more than the 85, and others have just stepped up a gear, and I just like that. I like the fact that we are come the end of this year there will be 3 or 4 riders we're like, where did they come from? They are the next batch of riders to come through. So yeah, really enjoy the 125cc class. The racing was great, and I think we're in for another great championship.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the 125s, they're definitely the best smelling class. Of course, the two-stroke, you can't deny the two-stroke mix is just intoxicating. I was lucky enough to go to the classic bike show down at Bath on West Showground, and as soon as the two-stroke got fired up, some of them were like, wafting it away, but I was like, oh, it just takes me back to 1990s schoolboy motocross, turning up and having the bikes revved up from like 7:45 in the morning just to get any heat into them on a cold winter's morning. So, yeah, for sure, the two-stroke fumes come through. 125s have their fans. I'm not a big fan of 125 in terms of riding one. I hated it. I was too big for it, and I hated racing against them. But for sure, it brings out aggression in riders. They have to have that massive corner speed, it always provides hectic racing. So that is the main part as a spectator and as a commentator, it's certainly unpredictable. And of course, these kids, we're talking like 13 to 17-year-olds. This is quite a big range there. If you picture a 13-year-old, he's grown massively by the time he's 17. So yeah, they certainly will be all shapes and sizes. And of course, a lot of ambition, and maybe sometimes not always the talent or the experience to back up that ambition. So yeah, it's always an absolute hotbed there. But should we start by speaking about our main contenders?
Yeah, and I think in terms of contenders, like I said, the experience range sort of, I think, is going to show there, because we've got those riders that have had a full championship under their belt. They're going to, have a jump start there, because it is a big thing to do. These are long days. And I think some of these younger ones coming through are going to find that a little bit tough to start with. They're going to get into it. They'll warm up to that. But our top riders, there's 4 or 5 there that were at the sharp end last year that have got that experience under their belt. They're going to know what to expect. They're going to know how to pace themselves throughout what is a long day. So I think you've got to be looking at those guys to be at the sharp end because, and I think they are at the height of the age spectrum. So our 2 guests, I think you've got to really be looking at those 2 for championship contenders. Then Hayden Statt on the Chambers race in KTM, he was very, very good last year. It seemed to get in a lot of bother. It seemed his results could have been a lot stronger at quite a few meetings, but I think he is definitely going to be very, very good this year. Drew Stock, what a year! What a phenomenal year Drew Stock had, home and abroad. In the Blue Crew, Yamaha, the Super Cup, going to America, racing the Minios, all this stuff, and how well did he ride as well? Like there's a proper old head on young shoulders there. So those 2, I think, really do stand out for me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they were both battling at the sharp end of the Blue Crew 125 final up in Sweden there. One race to decide, who won that Blue Crew competition. One race on one day up in Sweden. And yeah, the pair of them were duking out there with a very fast Estonian. So yeah, for sure. They both showed the regression there. I mean, Drew had that much contact that his front number plate was hanging off by the end of it. Hayden Statt had his chance to win and just about tipped over, which kind of typified Hayden's year, really, sadly for him. But Hayden's a classic example of just pushing, urgency, aggression. He's always been quite light and therefore a rapid starter, and and he's just got that natural aggression as well. But he's certainly going to be one to contend with. Didn't win at any point last year, on his way to second in the series, but there were issues for Ryan Waggett in the final round, and as Drew will say soon, that he had a few issues as well. So Hayden was right there, always pushing, and for sure, he's won classes in virtually every size of bike through the whole of his British Championship life as a youngster, and now coming through to see what he can do in 125s. And yeah, they both already tackled EMX 125, so they've been in amongst European competition. They both want to get further and deeper into that, and we all want that as British motocross fans as well. So the domestic competition between these 2 is going to be absolutely red hot, I think. And we've got the manufacturers element in there as well, with Hayden Statt returning to the Austrian machines with Chambers KTM, a great team behind him. And Drew Stock, having won the Yamaha kind of apprenticeship, if you like, he's there now with the JK Yamaha backing. So I'm hoping for Drew that he has a much better experience than Jamie Keith did with that team, because Jamie had his issues. They were mainly around injuries, but I know from speaking around the paddock that Jamie wasn't massively happy with the setup from JK. Drew looks to be happy with that. I'm sure that the program would have been amended because it's only in its second or third year, I think. And that JK team has got some talent, with Isaac Gifting as part of the squad, of course, the Jakub Kubelins, who surprised everybody at the Mantova International by leading the world MX2 champion on a 250cc two-stroke. He was on a 125 last year, big kid, but he was right up there at the sharp end. And so it proves that there is some talent in that JK outfit. And let's hope some of it rubs off on Drew Stock, because he's aggressive, he wants to win, he's got great determination, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, and that we said, those 2, Stat and Stock, were 2 of the 5 sort of riders that were at the sharp end in terms of results in the 125 last year, with 3 of those going up. So Charlie Richmond, our champ, has gone up, Ryan Waggett's gone up, and Jamie Keefe, we only saw fleetingly last year. So those are all going to make their pro debuts. So out of those 5, Hayden Statt and Drew Stock are the 2 sort of remaining riders. So like we said, their experience. One rider who was very, very young and very inexperienced last year, but comes now with that season under his belt, is Lucas Moncrief. I can see some big results from him, because he was one of the youngest riders in the field last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was moved straight up from Big 185, and he was eternally on that Phoenix Tools Kawasaki team. He was just about the only green bike in the 85cc class against a swathe of Austrians, Austrian machines, I should say. And Lucas, yeah, we're getting quite a northern flavour to this because Hayden Statt's up there from the northeast Durham area, Drew Stocks from Northants, Lucas Moncrief up there from Lancashire. So yeah, quite a lot of northern concern here. And yeah, Moncrief moving to the Yamaha last year got better and better as the season went on. And yeah, a real talent. Certainly Barry Moore from the Phoenix Tools team always thought he had great determination and was trying to push him forward there, even though you've got to say maybe the Kawasaki wasn't as competitive against the Austrian brands. But yeah, Moncrief, he's got a bright future, I think, number 531. So yeah, we'll watch a real underdog. And yeah, for my Lancashire heritage, I'll always cheer him on for sure.
Lancashire heritage.
Yeah, my dad's from Morecambe.
You do claim, honestly, I'm sure every week you say you've got.
I'm going to have a hook into everywhere I can.
Yeah, yeah. You just aligned yourself with everyone, didn't you? Yeah, my dog's from, no, it's cat. You've got a cat, haven't you?
Oh, I mean, you might find somebody that could be a speedway rider if you want. You can bring your element in.
Oh, I'm trying to think now. I can't find the.
I'll blow you away.
Hold on, give me a second. I'll try and find someone.
Sydney.
He's not what Speedway? No, Zane Stevens. He's moved up, so I could have said his dad. I rode Speedway with his dad, but no, can't do it. Finley Pickering, is that who you're saying? Who's next on your list?
Yeah, I mean, for Finley Pickering, again, another northern rider from Cumbria there. And yeah, for sure, he's been hit by injury quite a lot the last couple of years, but he's always come back swinging, always giving it maximum determination. So yeah, another one this year, I think on the Yamahas, I believe. I'll just flick to that right screen there. So yeah, it's definitely Austrian bikes against the Yamahas, it seems to me. There's a couple of Fantics thrown in there. But yeah, Finley has definitely got some determination. And again, another one who in his second year could well come through with a decent showing. He ended up in the season 13th, but he missed the first two rounds and the final round. So in fact, he missed the first three rounds and the final round and still got 13th in the championship. So for Finley, a best result there of 5th. Race 1 at the penultimate round, so he's definitely in with a shout of getting more of those and even challenging for those podium spots too.
Yeah, no, for sure, definite talent. Another rider that I've got down here with definite talent, Alfie Geddes Green, Eastern Centre rider, had a really good year in that Eastern Centre. They're so lucky, the Eastern Centre riders. That championship is fantastic. Visits a lot of good tracks, really well run. So yeah, he come through, and I think he was the junior champion, which again, old school guys will know what that means. To be a junior champion is not to be sniffed at, because you have to beat a lot of good riders to get through to that. And back in the day, we all had to do that to become an expert before you could race in national championships, essentially. So yeah, the Eastern Centre sort of harks back to the old days. But yeah, Alfie Geddes Green, had to ride a lot of conditions, a lot of tracks to get that. So great experience riding with the adults as well. That in itself, I think, makes a difference to a rider as well. Some of these kids are stepping up from schoolboys, from 85s. They're now going against people like Drew Stock and Hayden Statt that have got EMX 125 experience, also got some experience riding with adults, and the elbows are out. They have to be tougher, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can, if they're out there in the Eastern Centre, the likes of Ling and Blacksall, obviously, national level, some would say international level circuits and facilities. And yeah, especially a place like Blacksall, you can get up close and personal quite easily from the paddock. You can then walk towards the track area, and you can see the likes of Grimshaw and Nunn going at it like they did in the Eastern Centre last year. So yeah, for these kids, it's great to see that. And you can't beat watching the best to help you learn. And yeah, get Alfie Geddes Green from Norfolk, from that area. Very good in the sand, twice a winner at the Western Beach Race in the youth classes. A great interview, great character. He has struggled, true say, with consistency. 11th in the series last year. Again, he missed a few rounds, so that the Scottish doubleheader in particular he missed, which hurt his championship there. But yeah, for sure, he could well be a podium contender if he can just stitch that through. But again, another year older, physically stronger. Yeah, there's every chance there. Alfie Green is one of those I think is on the cusp. We could see him disappear, or we could see him being a future pro and really thriving. He's certainly got all the ability in the world, and now it's just down to the heart and the character. So hopefully Alfie's got the beans in the number 111. Who's a great character. He's fantastic to talk to, as I think I've said already. I just fingers crossed for him because he's always stood out for me as a really sort of promising talent. So we just hope that talent shines through.
Cool. And going over to your local, because I know you're
This one
claiming.
is local. This one is local.
Christopher Brindley. If you look at the final standings, so out of the riders that are still within the championship, Christopher Brindley is number 4. And put in some pretty consistent runs of results. He was always there, always finishing. And in fact, his highest finish was towards the end of the season, was the last round. So, yeah, consistently got better and better.
Yeah, 6.5 in that last round down there at Ling. Which I think got him to 5th overall. Yeah, 5th overall. So pretty solid, like you say, 8th in the series. But that was his first year up from the 85 and getting faster and faster. He was at the Monster Mountain Festival that one weekend and was fantastic there against some serious opposition. And did well in the midweek races too. So, yeah, Chris Brindley is really one to watch, I think. Good, determined rider, getting stronger. So, yeah, for sure he's worth mentioning in this because, like you say, top 10, top 5, and for sure he'll be chasing a podium, and nothing less, I suspect, will make him happy this year.
Cool. Other riders that were up towards that sharp end, in around the top 10, that are still in the championship because before we move on and chat rookie-wise, you've got Cole Nally in there, rider consistent results all the way through, which is going to make a difference over 8 rounds, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And Cole is the one that does it the hard way, coming across on the ferry from Northern Ireland every weekend to race. So, Cole for sure is determined to do it. He's definitely getting stuck in there and getting familiar with all the ferry staff, I'm sure. But yeah, 14th in last year's championship. Again, his first attempt and coming back from all this year. Fingers crossed for Cole. I think he will do very well. Certainly part of that strong Northern Ireland contingent as they always club together and look after each other. So, yeah, great to see. It would be good to see Cole fly the flag there for the Northern Irish. And then you got Fabian Junior Morrison, number 259, who managed to do a wild card at the EMX 125 at Matterley. And I think he just about made the races. Can't quite remember if he got through. But yeah, for sure, he's one that has again got promise and will only get stronger during his second year because he's got a hangout style. He's West Country from Wiltshire. But yeah, he's a strong lad and fingers crossed for him moving forward.
I'm claiming him because he's the sort of localish to me. So I'm claiming him. I'm claiming, and he used to do our Supercross, so I remember him riding Airborne Gunner and Rocket Till Sundown. So yeah,
he's got to be looking at an EMX 125 at Fox Hills, hasn't he? He's got to be doing that surely.
I think he'd be pretty darn good there, to be fair, as well. So yeah, for sure.
Good stuff. So we'll come through that to wanted to say maybe the title favourite perhaps coming through. We'll just have a quick interview now with our first guest for this podcast, Mr. Hayden Statt, coming to you right now. So here we are as part of our preview for the 125cc section of the British Championship. We've now got what we just really recently discovered there, the silver medalist from last year's series in the 125cc class from Chambers KTM for the new year, Mr. Hayden Statt. Pleased to have you with us, Hayden. How's it all doing up there?
Yeah, I'm all good. How are you, Ben?
Yeah, looking good. Yeah, getting ready for the season. So yeah, it's all getting fired up very quickly, as you know. So you say you've been out getting things sorted. Were you out at the weekend riding?
Yeah, I just went up to Motul Farm because I'd just gotten back from Belgium with the mechanic guys. So I had a couple of days out in Belgium, well, Germany, because it was that wet in Belgium. Just went to Gravenbroich and put some motors in and came back. Got back for 4:30 in the morning Friday. So made sure I rested up and I went out Sunday at the Motul Farm and got back yesterday. So
Nice one. So yeah, of course, the Chambers team have got their own base out in Lommel. I think I found it on taking a wrong turn towards the GP last year. I suddenly found myself in an industrial estate with all the KTM crews and saw the Chambers vans in a driveway. I'm like, yeah, this ain't the track. Yeah, it's just all so compact there. What's it like being part of that? Are you like staying out there, and because they've got like a proper like almost apartment facility, haven't they, in their workshops out there?
Yeah, it's great. Being on the team has opened a lot of opportunities. So I can, well, a couple of days ago I went out with Gaz to Belgium, so that would never have happened if I wasn't on the team. So being able to just go out like when Gaz is going out and being able to ride and having Gaz there is a great opportunity. And obviously the centre, we stayed at the centre. Ollie wasn't there, so we managed to take the centre and sleep there for a couple of days.
Nice one. That worked out well. And that's of course Ollie Colmer stays out there a lot as well, doesn't he? So yeah, he's
Yeah,
part of the team this year. Good stuff. Are you practicing with Adam and Ollie, and that's obviously the more sort of senior members of the team. Are you practicing there, picking up some things from them as well?
yeah. When we went out to Grevenbroich, I was training with Sterry. Sterry, he's quick, like he's looking good for the season up ahead. Like I would definitely want to watch.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that's good. That must be, great for you to have that, experience, because Adam's been there and done it for so many different levels and that. What are the biggest things you've learned from him this winter?
Well, with only being with him for like a couple of days, I got to know him a bit better, but I haven't really. He's obviously focused on his own riding a lot, so I can just pick stuff up being with him more. So chances are I'll learn more being with him. But with only being with him for a couple of days, I haven't picked up much yet.
But what the team itself as well, that is like one of the big things we've always spoke about with the team is it is like a big family. Have you felt that, or that, I know you're very new into it, but have you felt that sort of vibe already?
Oh yeah, of course. Just being welcome back, and me and my dad can phone Tilly, Tim, anyone on the team, and just speak to them and say I've got a bike issue or whatever. They'll sort it straight away for us.
Nice
Yeah.
one. And the squad in general. Then, I mean, how did the ride come about? Because I mean, I do remember your dad being slightly nervous when you were doing quite well in the 125 Blue Crew race in Sweden. It was
Yeah,
like, oh, if he gets off on a ride, we'd sort of talk to someone else. So,
yeah,
did they approach you, or were you guys shopping around? How did it all come about?
yeah. I believe the approach is mid to end of the season, but obviously with the Blue Crew, I was looking to get that JK ride, but I think Tim needed an answer for a certain time, and the JK ride, I was having to wait a bit longer, and I wasn't guaranteed it.
Yeah.
But I believe the route I've went is the better route anyway. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable on a KTM, a lot quicker, and I'm really enjoying being on the team.
Yeah, because you're on KTM stuff, if I remember rightly. You've been on Austrian machinery for quite some time, haven't you?
Yeah,
Good stuff. And then, so your program for this year, what are we doing? So you've got the 125 series in the UK. How's it
yeah,
looking in terms of EMX? So we look doing the whole series? Is that what you're
yeah.
looking
I will be doing the whole series this year as long as I pull my finger out and perform.
That's cool. I was going to say, like, this year, there's been quite a big turnaround of riders going up from the 125 class to MX2. So you're sort of one of the more senior riders. How do you feel about that? Does that put a bit of expectation on you, or does it give you a bit more confidence?
It just gives it a bit more confidence. Obviously, I was one of the youngest last years, and it was more of a learning year. And to be able to do what I did in my learning year, I feel really confident going into this year. Like there's only one way, and it's to go forward. So a second last year, it's gonna have to be a win this year.
Yeah, and that's, like you said, you did it right at the end. You started coming good. It felt to me like last year, a lot of things you seem to be in the wrong place at the wrong time quite a lot, and if you sort of added some of those points up that you lost from that, you would have been a lot closer as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just with the Yamaha, it was a whole comfort. I never really felt 100% on the Yamaha. It just never felt exactly what I wanted. I was always missing something. It just didn't feel 100% whereas, and now that I've moved on to the KTM, I'm now feeling 100% for the season.
Nice one, kind of like a Prado syndrome type of thing then, yeah, really.
Yeah, feeling proud of those feelings there.
I mean, yeah, obviously he hasn't got a chance to show it at the moment, but yeah, he certainly has been putting that to good use. And then yeah, looking at, I mean, I must be honest, I haven't quite seen all the registration lists for the 125 Championship yet, and I've just looked on Dirt Hub, but I can't find them, Paul. So if they're on there, I'm sorry. We'll have to increase your navigation on the site. They will come, I'm sure.
They're definitely on there.
They're on there. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. But I mean, going from like who was entered for Hawkstone in that class, I mean, you've got people that you know and you've raced for some time. You've also got some young kids coming up, like John and Stanley Dawson and that sort of stuff. So, just remind us, like, because you've won auto championships, small wheel and big wheel 85 British Youth Championships. How old are you now? How old are you going to be this year? And how long have you got to work on this EMX 125 thing?
I'm 15 at the minute, and I turned 16 in April. And yeah, 16 in April, and I don't know what else to say.
16 April, not doing bad on the interview side. Don't worry, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, we're still getting past the professional setup there with the bike behind you. I mean, you're making me wish it was a video pod now. It does look the business, so this is all good. But yeah, I mean, you had your time with a few goes at EMX 125. I mean, there was the one which I remember at Trentino. You had a really good start. Paul was calling your name out in the commentary there, getting right up towards the sharp end. So yeah, how far do you think you've come from that rider? That was up at that sharp end, although dealing with those quick 125 lads, much older than you.
I believe the rider now that I am on the KTM would absolutely destroy that rider on that Yamaha.
No, and I can't believe you're 15, man, because I just said more senior rider, but you're 15.
Yeah.
And fair play to you.
I was chuckling at that.
Yeah. What we said, what people can't see is you got a Chambers Racing shirt on, the bike in the background, absolutely prime, in line with the clock. Honestly, it looks very professional. So fair play to you for putting that together. How's it been like? Obviously, you're 15, you've still got school and stuff like that going on. How do you juggle all of that type of stuff?
Well, at the minute I'm homeschooled, and I just try and do what work I can do, but I'm more focused on the gym. I'm spending a lot of hours in the gym during the week with not being able to get out like on the bike. So I compensate by training in the gym twice as hard to make up for the riding that I don't get as much as the other riders. I see a lot of other riders out during the week training, riding twice, 4 times a week, Saturday, Sunday, and then they'll be out Tuesday, Wednesday. And financially, me and my family just can't afford that. So I do what I can to compensate for that in the gym.
Yeah, so you'll be one of the fittest riders on the track in the 125s then, you reckon, that the end of the motos, that's when you're going to come good?
Yeah, I always seem to come good midway through the motors to the end.
Yeah, I mean, even just seeing you now is like that's a different kid to the one I last saw in the British at the end of last year. So yeah, obviously 15 years old, he's still growing as well, aren't you? So I mean, do you work with anybody on the training side of it, and have they got to sort of cope with the fact that you do need to rest? You are growing still physically, so as well as the gym work, you got to cope with that side of it. I mean, are your trainers taking that into account as well?
Yeah, of course. I've got Martin Nugent's Elite Performance. He does like all the Olympic athletes and footballers, like a lot of professional athletes out there, and obviously he knows what he needs to do to make me as good as I can be, and I trust him and what he's doing. So I just basically listen to him and get done what he tells us to do.
Nice one. Good work. I mean, who are you seeing as like, are you one of these riders that looks at the entry list, looks at the competition a lot, or are you more sort of focused on what you're doing? I mean, who do you think your main rivals are for this British Championship this year?
No one. I'm just gonna focus on myself, and I believe when I perform how I know I can, I'm gonna be at the front.
And do you get, like when you ride in the EMX 125s, always, it worked for me, and I know it works for quite a lot of people, because you sometimes you rock up to the line and you don't know anybody. Do you find sometimes that helps you because you haven't got a clue who they are? There's no expectation. There's no, oh, I've got him next to me. Sometimes because you don't know anybody, does it help you?
I mean, in certain aspects, maybe, but most of the competition, I know who's there, so there's not really a place where that happens. I pretty much know who I'm going against, and again, I just focus on myself and make sure I can get done what I know I can do, and I will be there. I'll be thereabouts.
Cool. And the 125 class being brought into the British Championship last year, how much would you say that has helped yourself and your fellow 125 riders? Because you've been put in this spotlight now. A lot of more people know who you are, know your achievements. I'm sure it's probably helped. Getting your ride with Chambers Racing. So how was that helped your career? Would you say?
Yeah, of course, it's helped. Like, even just last year, it was just absolute carnage, battling every race. There was no breaks you were getting. So as a rider, you were like you were building and building, and you were getting better each weekend because you had no breaks. You were battling. You were guaranteed a battle the whole race, and yeah, as a part of being in with the MX2 and MX1 class, obviously you get to know more people, and people start to recognize you as being at the front in the 125. So that would also help people being able to recognize you, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, no, cool. And have you found that, because of you've been on the live stream and stuff, have you found people sort of coming up to you and asking for autographs and young people looking up to you?
Yeah. When I walk through the paddock, I have a couple of like young kids come up, ask for us to sign something or a photo, and obviously also being in with the MX1 and MX2, I've got to know a couple of like the big riders like Conrad, Sterry. We obviously Sterry because he's my teammate, but I get to like see them and talk to them, and if I need to, I could ask for advice.
Oh, we keep losing Ben. He's freezing. Not literally freezing. He's not freezing cold. He is there. One of the big things we keep saying about Ben is that he brings the bad weather. We've had a winter full of it. It just doesn't stop raining. What's your feelings on rain and wet weather, and how's it been sort of riding in Lommel in tough conditions and stuff?
We're just riding any weather because at the GPs it's gonna run either way. You seen in Coulsar when we pretty much every round was a mudder on one of the days. It was great one day and then terrible the next. So you've got to ride in them conditions to get better.
Yeah, it certainly was definitely a weather thing. Paul keeps blaming me because everywhere I go, the weather seems to be horrendous. That's part of the reason why Hawkstone was cancelled this year, I think, because I was supposed to be on the mic. But there you go. Never mind. Hopefully, it won't follow me this year. We'll see how it goes. But I mean, yeah, looking at the championship to come there, and my screen just blinked out. So if I'm repeating a question, I apologise. Paul had to edit it out. But yeah, from that side, you've got Hawkstone to start with. Then you got Preston Docks, and then Link. So you've got three quite soft tracks at the beginning there. You practice here, there, and obviously now going out into Belgium as well. Are you more of a sand guy than a hard pack guy, or is there really no sort of preference for you?
Yeah, I'm more of a sand guy personally, but over the years I've been getting better on hard pack, so it's pretty even now.
Good stuff. And then you've also got towards the end of the season, you've got Scotland. So I guess that's actually probably the most local to you, isn't it? And now confirmed at Duns as well. So yeah, is there a particular favourite? Is there a track on there that you like you're looking forward to the most? You know, what's your sort of favorite on the circuit?
I quite like Ling, to be fair. I do like Ling, but I don't know. That's a tough question. I'd probably say Ling.
Cool, nice one. Yeah, your results so far have been pretty decent there.
No, it's cool. I was going to say, you know, as a young rider coming in, and I know the answer Ben would like you to say, but don't worry about Ben, right? As a young rider looking in, you know, you've got America and the GPs, and you know there is that divide. You know, where would you, you know, if you could choose to be anywhere in, I don't know, let's go when you're 21, 6 years time, where would you want to be? Would you want to be riding America or the GPs?
It's such a good question. I'd probably have to say America. I'd love to do Supercross, but it's getting the opportunity to go out there, and it's a big risk, isn't it? It's like trying to pursue an MXGP career, and then going over, not knowing if you're even going to be good at Supercross, not knowing how much work you're going to have to put in to get good at it. And it's a complete different like sport in a way. So yeah, I'd like to do Supercross, but it's a big risk. But like they say, no risk, no rewards. So.
Yeah, I think maybe with, you know, with World Supercross, it sort of maybe gives sort of more European based riders a little bit of a chance maybe to edge that way a little bit. You know, in arena cross as well, you know, in the UK, although we had less rounds this year. You know, is arena cross ever been something on your radar?
We were thinking about doing it on the 85s, but then one of my friends, Finn Pickering, had a massive crash and I think he did his arm or something, and we thought, no, we're not going to go do that. Our main focus is EMX and British, so if I wipe myself out doing arena cross, I'm going to miss both of them.
Yeah, no, like you said, and that's something that's sort of cropped up quite a few times now with some of the, you know, the senior riders like Conrad and stuff like that. You know, their focus is the outdoors and stuff like that, so they've got to pitch in with that one. So I know you're very well prepared, and you actually have a list of sponsors written out. So yeah, you know that is really cool. You know that to be fair, you're the first person that's done that. That's actually properly written down. So fair play to you. So you can yeah, give your supporters and sponsors a shout out.
Right, so we're ready for this because this took us at least 10 minutes to write. So everyone at the team, Tilly, Tim, and our new managers is Stefan, I think. Sorry if I got that wrong, but it's thank you to all them, and just being able to go and a phone call away and them being able to be there and support us. And all the team's sponsors like KTM, Motox, TLD, Twin Air, Michelin, HGS Exhausts, Pico Factory Racing, Enjoy, MFG, RFX, Pro Pegs, TSWP Suspension, RK Chains, Super Sprox, Horn Wheels, Service UK, CS Limited, Moto Master, Pro Carbon, Biggers, and Samco. And then I also have a couple of personal sponsors that have hopped on board to also help the team a little bit. I have Yes Goggles, Royal Apparel, Martin Nugent's my coach at the gym, Algas, Rochford's, Nightingale Coaches, Rapid Military, and Brian Davies at timberrepairs.co.uk.
That's great work. Amazing stuff. Good work on that one there. I mean, I've seen some shots of Adam, and I take it you've got identical kit because the TLD stuff looks really cool for you guys this year. That's a real, I would say, a big improvement from how the guys looked last year.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So yeah, looking forward to the new season then. 125 British Championship. Obviously, this is the preview for that. So building up Hawkstone Park. How do you feel about that circuit? You know, what's your past record there? You know, what's the the vibe going towards that one?
Well, now that you mentioned Hawkstone, I'd probably say Hawkstone's my favourite track on the calendar. So I'm really looking forward to Hawkstone.
There's something about it in there. You have that the ride through the. I mean, I've raced it only at sort of like AMTA Championship level, and just going through the trees, I was like, thinking of like images I've seen from the years. I mean, do you get that same sense of history? Obviously, GPs there happened long before you were born, so do you still get that same sense of history yourself?
Yeah, when you see, I think it's a video of Max Sunstein, Jeffrey Erland's going through after the start and he jumps into the wall. Yeah, that definitely pops into my head when I jump that.
Nice one. You got any favourite bits of the track?
A lot of people say the hill, but I wouldn't say it's my favourite. I'd probably say coming out of the woods in the bomb hole. But when the bomb hole was like dangerous and if you messed up, you were going to crash. When
Okay.
it was
You preferred that?
yeah.
Excellent, good stuff. Paul, much from yourself there? Anything more to add?
No, I think that's it from me. But yeah, no, fair play to you. You've come a long way. Certainly saw your progress as a rider. Certainly saw it last year. All the way through the season. But speaking to you now, we've seen how much you've sort of grown as a person, and it's certainly confidence. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you battling at the sharp end in 2026. I think the 125s were in for a very exciting year, as was last year.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, Hayden. It's been superb. Sorry for my technical issues there. We've had some power outages here.
Right.
And Ben's gone again. There you go. His next door neighbour. He said, he goes, my next door neighbour's been drilling. It's doing his head in. So yeah, we'll sort his next door neighbour out and go from there. But yeah, thanks a lot for joining us, Hayden. Best of luck for 2026. Look forward to seeing how you get on in the British and in the European Championship. And yeah, can't wait to see the 125s on track at Hawkstone.
Yeah, thank you for letting us come on and be here.
So I am now joined on the show by JK Racing Yamaha rider Drew Stock. Welcome to the show, Drew.
Hi, thanks for inviting me on.
No worries. What a year 2025 was for you. Looking back at it now, it must have been a bit of a whirlwind for you, really, coming into the season. Would you have ever imagined all of what happened?
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy year for me. I achieved a few things I didn't expect to do, to be fair. I think it was a really good season and I was happy with it. And hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, no, like you said, it was, there's so much went on in your year, really, didn't it? Obviously, we saw you at the start of the year in the 125 class in the British, and then obviously the big thing was the Yamaha, the Blue Crew side of things. We saw you race in America, and now coming through all of that, we're heading into 2026, and you have now got a team ride with JK Racing Yamaha. Just a massive whirlwind for you. Going back to the start of last year, and then coming through to now, how much experience, how much of a different person and a different rider do you think you are?
I think I made a big step forward last year. Now that I'm on a team for this year with being teammates with Gifton and various other riders, I think I'm more ahead this year than I was last year. I made big improvements last year, and then hopefully we get some even better results this year.
That's cool. And one of the things noteworthy to me was your maturity as a rider. There's a lot of you're only 16, but some of the races that you had, it was your race management. There were certain races that you had some great battles with Charlie Richmond, and Charlie was quicker than you, but you managed to ride a very good and clever race. Where does that come from? Because you're only 16 and you just seem to have bundles of racecraft.
Yeah, that's the question. I don't know. This year I I feel like I always have really good racecraft. To be fair, I've got some aggressive passes now. Yeah, don't know really.
Yeah, like you said, you're not scared of putting, the elbows in and doing what you need to do to win races, and to get to the top. You need that. And do you think, sometimes that way of riding has helped sort of put you in the spotlight a bit, and make teams sort of notice you because of that, because they're like, this guy really wants to win?
Yeah, maybe. I think that might be a reason as well. But I think me riding in Europe as well as in the EMX, the boys are a lot more aggressive, which that might have made me a bit rougher, and everyone's so intense, so you have to be a bit more aggressive with the passing in Europe. So maybe that's brought me on a little bit.
Yeah, and you traveled, you raced in Europe, we've seen you race all over, in the Blue Crew racing, but you got to race in America. How much of a difference experience was that for you riding in the States?
Yeah, that was a mega experience in riding in America. I think that was a one-off experience which showed, yeah, not many people will ever get that experience, and to race on the same track with all the other pros and the MXON nations, that was pretty good, mega.
Yeah, and did you expect to get on the podium over there?
That was my goal, and after qualifying, I was aiming to win, but I had a bit of a problem halfway through the race. But I was happy in the end to get up on a podium still with the problems I had.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like I said, again, putting yourself on the world stage there, people taking a good bit of notice of you. You went back to the States then after that. You raced in the Mini O's. How was that for you?
Yeah, we'd done the Mini O's as well. I think a month or two after that, a friend sorted a bike out, and then they made everything come together so we could get a camper, a bike, and I got to race there for a week. And I got a third in a race, but the race beforehand I was fourth and a third, and someone else was in front of me, and I didn't actually get on the podium, which I thought I was going to get on the podium, but I didn't. But I just missed out on that, and hopefully we're going to be going back again this year.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool. So nice other thing on the plan. So this is the British preview show. Last year you were fourth in a very tight battle for second. But we saw you at the sharp end a lot. The goal for you must be the title.
Yeah, that's the goal. I won 2 rounds last year and had a couple bad results, which dropped me down a bit. But no, that's the goal this year.
Cool. And there is quite a switch of riders. Some riders have gone up, but there is some talented riders coming up through the ranks. Have you taken much notice of who your opposition is?
I know there's a few 85 riders coming up, and they look all right. I know they'll be somewhere near, but I'm focused on the top, on the goal to win.
No, fair enough. And you've got the backing of JK Racing. So, how have they helped you, during the winter months? And what is the setup like for that, with the British Championship?
Went to Sardinia for 10 days, went training there out there with the vans and the bikes. So that was a big help. So we only had to fly out there. I've got parts and bikes and stuff for the UK for the British Championship from JK Yamaha. So that's all sorted this end, and then I got the mechanic and that in Europe. So we're all sorted.
Okay, so are you going to be riding the full EMX 125 Championship with them?
Yep, that's the plan. Full EMX 125 Championship and British Championship.
Wow, so exciting, a big exciting year coming up then.
Yeah, busy one.
Yeah, it's going to be busy for sure for you. Round one, Hawkstone Park. Is Hawkstone a good track for you?
I enjoyed riding the track. I I think it's a good track. But last year I didn't have a very good results there. So hopefully I have a big improvement this year.
It just help, like I said, if you can get that round one, a good round one under your belt, it makes a massive difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know you can't win the championship in the first round, but you can definitely lose it, maybe. So
Yeah.
If anything happens, I'll still keep with it, and anything can happen.
I think that's the good thing for the 125s now is, rather than sort of your championship being crammed in or sort of it is part of the main championship. So you've got a full 8 rounds to, to make your mark on it. If you have one bad one, you've got 7 more to build back up. What tracks are you most looking forward to visiting?
I'm looking forward to Ling and Blacksaw. I won both there last year, and I really like them tracks. Ling, Blacksaw, and yeah, I think Ling, Blacksaw, and probably Hawkstone. I kind of prefer the sandy air tracks.
No, that'd be cool. And Monster Mountain's on the agenda as well this year. Have you ridden there before?
I rode there once in 2023, so I haven't got much experience around there, but I enjoyed it there as well.
That's cool. And the setup now with the 125s being part of the main British Championship, and with all the other TV sort of appearances you've had, how have you found that? Just being part of the championship, every round, the qualifying and all of that for the full 8 rounds. How's that been for you?
They put on a great season last year. It was well run, and the streaming was really good. So I think it's quite a professional run event, and I enjoy racing there. It's a good class to race, and yeah, I like it.
And it's made a difference because I think, how good it was to watch last year has seen record registrations because I think there's 60 of you guys registered. It's certainly up there. I'm pretty sure it's 60 riders, so there could well be qualification for you guys. Yeah, how cool is that? You certainly don't want to be, I know you're expected to be right at the sharp end, but some of the younger riders certainly won't want to be in an LCQ, would they?
No, yeah, that would be good if it's nice to have a full gate. So that will be good for the event.
Cool. So, title on your mind in the British Championship. How about the MX 125? What are your goals and ambitions for that?
My goal is to be consistently in the top 10 and maybe a bit higher up in races and stuff, but I'd like to be realistic as well. But I'd like to be in the top 10 as consistent as possible.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, you've shown that is something that's as well within your capabilities as well. What is the plans? I know we're only just coming into this year. Going forward, you're only 16. How many years have you got left as a 125 rider, or you planning to ride?
This year, I'm planning to be my last year. I can only do this year in Europe, and I could hang down another year for the UK, but I'll plan to move up after this year.
Okay, so this is a big year. This is a yeah. But like you said, you've got everything behind you. Do you want to say a thanks to any sort of sponsors or supporters?
Yeah, thanks to Reford's Transport, they've helped us out with the camper and the vans for the transport. Goswell Ltd, they helped me out in many ways. JK Yamaha, they've been mega. They've helped me out with the bike, doing everything they can for me. Yamaha for the bikes. It's been great so far. So rolling the season.
Yeah, no, cool. So no, it's going to be a really interesting 125 class. Like we said, we've got yourself with that experience and a few other riders with a year under the belt, but it's going to be interesting to see all the young riders coming in as well. We wish you best of luck for the year. Look forward to seeing you racing EMX 125 as well. So yeah, best of luck, and yeah, look forward to seeing you at the track.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Drew. Great to hear from Drew Stock there. Obviously, yeah, I mean, these kids are in it for the riding. And sometimes the talking is not so easy. They are teenagers, and sometimes it's difficult to get a lot out of them. So fair play, Paul. You worked hard there with Drew, but he's all about the riding, and he's very much. I put him in that Cooper Webb category. It's like almost a surprise if he does well. Yet he constantly does well.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
do you know what he just surprised me last year. Just like I said in the interview, like his maturity of he just knows where everyone is. He just I don't know. There was just something really impressive about his season. I was well impressed with just how he handled himself on and off the track as well. Like he's very calm presence, really. Didn't seem to get too stressed about stuff and just did his thing. But he just seems, like I said, he just rode with a lot of maturity. Knew where people were, knew how to manage a race, which takes a lot of doing really at a young age.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what impressed Drew was his bloody mindedness. Like you say, he's not everyone's favourite in terms of, sometimes he's not that flashy. He's not a superstar king, if you like. He can ride a bike superbly well, of course, but he just seems to dig in at the right times, and that's something that a lot of British riders have been sorely lacking. Is that that chance to dig in and really grind out the results. 2 laps to go at the Blue Crew race in the Nations Ironman. I thought he was going to fade because I think he was looking at 4th place, but he kept on going through and he did not give up. He had pressure from behind. Some kid fell off and was recovering and catching, but Drew was not going to let him go. And that is the sort of mentality that I love to see in a young British rider. And for sure, Drew Stock, if he carries on this trajectory, is set to be a really colourful character in the future of pro motocross in the UK. So yeah, fingers crossed for Drew that he keeps on being himself and pushes it forward. But obviously he's not alone there. We've got lots of contenders coming in. So let's talk quickly about some of the rookies coming into this class. As Paul said earlier, moving up, getting older, going up to the big bikes for the first time. Can they translate this success on the small bikes to the full-size 125cc as part of the big shows, if you like? Of course, a lot of these kids would have been used to being part of the big show in the RHL days of running the British Championship. So they would have been at the same British Championship tracks as the top pros. They would have been racing mostly on the Saturday, maybe one race on the Sunday. So now they've sort of had a year in the British Youth Championships and now they're back in the big show. So I'm sure they're looking to make the most of it. And you got to say the first one to talk to really has got to be Joel Winstanley Dawson.
Yeah, and he's been getting some good results. So Preston Docks have been running their own championship series, and Joel's had some good riders. I just remember him through all different years, really. To be honest, he's just been coming through he just sticks in my mind of just a rider that's always at the sharp end all the way through. Another rider, just seems to just keep going and going and going. Tough character. I think this is a big year, and I can see multiple podiums from him this year. I really can.
Yeah, strong kid. Always had a big physical presence. He's been able to sort of drive it forward, and when the going got tough there, he quite often got going. So yeah, Joel is, and of course he's got that pedigree, hasn't he? With Matt Winstanley, a great pro motocrosser and supermoto rider too, and of course, the Winstanley family going back generations has been right towards the top of the sport. So he knows it. It's in his blood. And he's a proper northern fighter again. So yeah, it's going to be really good to see what Joel can do.
So you said that it's mainly Austrian and Yamaha machinery, but TM UK are actually at the races then with young Arthur Moore. So Arthur, former British small wheel 85cc champion, Bridgestone champion, raced very successfully in the big wheels last year, missed a couple of rounds, but could well have been a title challenger if not, because he's a podium runner. But looking at home, I've seen some videos of him on that TM. The TM sounds unreal as well, to be fair. So really nice to see Michael Woodsworth at TM UK supporting young Arthur. And I think he's a rider that you could see some good showings from. Looks so young in the pictures, and I think that's one of the things. Like, we've seen, how much Hayden Statt looks like he's grown up, although, he's still very young. Arthur still looks really young, really, really young. But obviously on a bike, he's certainly the real deal. And someone who I think by the end of the year, I think, again, another rider that's could take a couple of rounds to get into that rhythm and that routine. And I think by the end of the year, we could see some big results on that bike.
Yeah, I mean Arthur Moore's been going around the classes for quite some time now in the smaller classes. So yeah, he's one that I know from a few years of the British Championship back when they used to run together, and yeah, always there or thereabouts. Cheshire rider, so yeah, not far from Hawkstone. So his the first round there will be his local round, and yeah, for sure he'll be getting stuck in to that one. Another couple there that were at the top of the Big Wheel 85 Championships, quite a big stack of them coming through actually there, Paul. Just looking at the Big Wheel 85 top runners from last year, John and Stanley Dawson, we've already mentioned, was the champion. Harley Marjak finished just 7 points behind him. And Harley's one that always just seems to get stuck in and deliver. He can dominate a race meeting. You know, there were a couple of sort of crashes, maybe first corner incidents that would knock him outside the top three. But apart from that, then yeah, he would always be up there. So consistent, strong rider, good technique, and is also getting lots of training behind him, part of the Jude Morris Foundation as well. So yeah, for Marjak, he is one to watch out for, I think. And then yeah, Arthur Moore was fifth in that Big Wheel 85 Championship last year. Third was Ollie Waters, who you know, has done some great things for Team GB in the Coup de l'Avenir last 2 years, winning races there for Team GB and helping them up to the podium finishes. And yeah, Ollie's been looking strong training out in Spain there, Paul.
Yeah, he's with the JL Cox Motorsport team, who have, you know, been really pushing on with the youth riders as well. Ollie, like you said, another rider. There is a good batch, you know, as we've seen with the, you know, the Coupe team and the Junior Worlds teams. There is a real good batch of riders, you know, from a good batch of families, you know, that have been getting the riders racing abroad, you know, getting lots of experience in riding all different conditions in countries. So yeah, I think this what makes this 125 year quite exciting, because there is a good chunk of riders that are coming through, and I think that's exciting. Harley Marzak, by the way, is signed for the S Briggs commercial team on a 3-year program. So you know what, this is not just a 1-year thing. 3 years they've committed to Harley. At the time of his signing on the 7th of November, Harley was only 12. Just let that sink in.
Wow, I started racing when I was 12. That's scary.
Yeah, 12 years of age, and you know, going to be riding with the 125. So, but let's be fair. This is the experience. You imagine as a obviously, I think he's going to be 13 by the time race time comes around. But at that young of age to be riding in a proper British Championship, 8 rounds, going through that process, how much experience are you going to gain at that age? So, yeah, I think this is where I think our sport in the UK is going to real bear fruit in 3 or 4 years' time, when these guys have got all that grounding underneath their belt.
Yeah, and of course, S Briggs Commercials Yamaha champions last year with Charlie Richmond. So you know they produce a beautifully turned out machine, and yeah, Charlie certainly did it justice last year. So for sure, Harley stepping into big boots there, but yeah, I think he's got the talent to do it justice as well. So yeah, fingers crossed for him. Fourth in the series last year in the Big 185s was Archie Butterfield. Never really cracked that top three, but certainly very consistent. You know, fourth to sixth in those classes. And Archie was a growing lad, so yeah, for sure on a 125, I think it's the right time for him to move up and get going there. So yeah, he was just a few points ahead of Arthur Moore, who just looking through, actually, Arthur did win a race last year in July. I didn't quite see the venue there, but yeah, for sure he's got a good chance of stepping forward. So yeah, like I say, a whole good bunch of them coming through. You've got Chase Panther, who was sixth in that Big 185 series last year. He was very impressive at the Compass Cup that I commentated on at the end of last year. Yeah, Chase was a bit win or bin, but really good start on the bike and a serious turn of speed. So hopefully that 125 will also, yeah, do him some good service.
And we've also got champions from other series. So we've got the Bridgestone British Masters champion Archie Stapley, and then we've got the AMCA British champion Stanley Siebert as well. So a couple of champs from the 85s in different championships coming up to step up to this 125 class. And I think that's going to happen quite a lot. I think we're going to see the small L85 kids now are going to be looking at this championship and have going to looked at last year, and they're going to want to be in this as soon as they can, as we've seen with someone like Harley, who's 12 and just wants to be part of it.
Yeah, and Archie in the actual British series, like I say, he won the Bridgestone Masters, and he actually was achieving top 3 results there in the the MXGB Youth Series proper, just in behind Marjak and Winstanley Dawson there. So yeah, for sure, Archie Stapley, that number 184, the same number as Jamie Keith, trying to bring that one up into the series and carry the similar speed. But yeah, for sure, Archie Stapley, one to watch for. There's a whole pack of them that are really good. Jensen Severn is another one that's been successful all the way through the ranks. Had a bit of injury last year, so didn't really get to show his best. But yeah, for sure, Jensen Severn, another one who could have some serious results come his way. And like you say about Stan the Man Siebert, I remember him on a 65cc machine like just a few years ago, just like knee high to a grasshopper. So yeah, to see Stan the Man on a 125 is going to be is going to take some adjusting and make me feel very old very quickly.
Yeah, and that is the crazy thing about it. That the picture that come out with the PR with Arthur Moore, he just looks tiny compared to that TM. But yeah, we're gonna see, like you said, we're gonna see some of these kids are gonna grow up in a little bit of the spotlight really as well, because we got the live streaming. There's a lot more media attention around the 125 class now. So yeah, we're gonna really start to get to know some of these kids, and that's what I've enjoyed. Getting to know a bit about Drew Stock and the 125 kids. And yeah, it's going to be nice, as we said, to see some of them progress in the pro ranks, which we're getting to next week when we talk MX2, because we're going to see our 125 champ, Charlie Richmond, then mixing it in MX2 with the likes of Tommy Searle. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's lots to look forward to. And for these kids now, especially the 125 riders, this really is the series now, which will decide whether or not they're set to be pro. It will kind of set their motocross future in the next couple of years of whether they'll turn out to be professionals and moving on to the world scene, or whether or not they will stay as fast centre riders. So, this is something that, now is the sort of time when they'll all be full of hope and all be looking to rip up the circuit. And may the strongest kid win. It's going to be very, very entertaining for sure.
Cool. And prediction wise, we're going to do predictions through every round and do it like we did last year. So we're not going to do a championship one. We're going to do a prediction every round, because that means if we do a pizza on each one, then that sorts Pizza Friday out for the year, I reckon. You're very popular in my house at the moment, Ben.
Okay, I see what's happening here. Looking to get your money back. Yeah, I mean, let's do it. It's a good bit of fun. So, let's go for it. So, so we're gonna guess now for Hawkstone.
Do you want to do it now?
Oh, I don't know. Do you?
Yeah. All right. Right. Okay. That's off the cuff now because I didn't actually prepare it, but let's do it.
Yeah,
okay.
Same here.
Okay.
Same here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Hold on.
So we're going on gut raw instinct. Next week's MX2 will be much more researched.
Yeah, raw. It is raw. Right. Hold on. Now.
Raw as the 125s are. That's what I like. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Hawkstone Park, sand, deep stuff, possibly wet. Hopefully not. But yeah.
Hawkstone Park.
I like how suddenly we mentioned it's Hawkstone Park, and both Drew and Hayden said, yeah, it's their favourite track.
Confidence. It's mind games and confidence.
Confidence. Yes.
Okay. Right.
This is off the fly, folks.
Yeah. Okay. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Go for it. Who's your fifth?
Fifth, Harley Marjak.
Okay. I'm going to go fifth. I'm going to go Lucas Moncrief.
Ooh. Okay. Fourth, I'm going to go Alfie Geddes Green.
Okay. That's interesting. It's harder than you think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you never know.
Well, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go Joel and Stanley Dawson.
Ooh, okay. Go with the fast rookie.
Okay, over to you.
Third place, I'm going to go Finley Pickering.
Okay. This is really chess to me, to be fair. I'm going to go. I just got a feeling that this guy's going to elevate himself this year. And I did this with the Hawkstone as well. I'm going to go Christopher Brindley.
Okay, cool.
I just think he was there all the way last year. He was always there. And I just think, I just don't know.
Okay, no worries then. Now then, are we going to have the same top two, or are we going to dare to be different? So I'll let you go first.
Oh, thanks for that. God, this is hard, isn't it? We've both got the same top two, obviously.
Yeah. And again, we don't want to annoy.
They're going to share, right? Whatever happens, I think they're going to share the race wins, right?
Okay, yeah, I can see that. So who's going to be strong?
Who's going to win the second race?
And again, while Paul's just thinking on this, I must quick disclaimer to all families, teams, and everybody involved in these 125cc riders. This is nothing personal. I want a free pizza. That's the only reason why I'm putting these names down. And I think that I will be on commentary, so I'm going to be neutral. But yeah, I just wish everybody success. But yeah, this is just a personal opinion as to how they will go. So there you go. You can hit me at the track later on. But there you go. I wish nobody any ill.
Cheesy as it is, the sport is the winner with the 125 class because it is so many young riders coming through. So you know what? At the end of the day, we're only making a very tough prediction, and it is tough. Like hence why I've just stalled for the last 5 minutes. Trying to work out who to go. I am going to go second. I'm going to go Hayden Statt.
I was hoping to say that. Yeah, I'm going to go Drew Stock second.
Okay. I think Hayden will win race 1. And Drew will get a really good start in race 2. Hayden will get on his back wheel, but I think Drew will hold off. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. I've done a proper race by race.
That's like that's Back to the Future stuff. We'll put the almanac away. Yeah.
If that is right, that would be uncanny, wouldn't it?
I think it's going to be a great scrap between the pair of them. But yeah, I just think Hayden's got a little bit the edge off the start and enough speed, I think, to carry it. But yeah, again, as with anything in this class, anything could happen. And shocks and surprises are what we're here for. So my top 5 then: Statt, Stock, Pickering, Get a Screen, and Marjak. Your top 5 was
Stock, Statt, Brindley, Joel and Stanley Dawson, Lucas Moncrief.
So we are proper different.
The way we like it.
Yes, man. I can smell the mighty meaty right now. Good stuff. Okay, well, thanks to everybody for listening to the All British podcast this week. Obviously, not a massive amount of news from the weekend. Tom Vial did very well at the French International, so that has put the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit there for people thinking he was a bit of a no-hoper, but it's going to be entertaining to see what he can do. And a few nasty rumours circulating about Kai de Wolf having an injury. We really hope that's not the case with Argentina coming up. But fingers crossed for everybody there. Looking forward to getting things running with MXGP. Leerop, the Dutch International, coming up this weekend, so that'd be cool. Not sure if it's live streamed. We'll have to have a check on that. But yeah, things proceeding apace, and really looking forward to having this season come forward. So we'll get ourselves a guest on with MX2 for next week. As always, anybody in the industry there that wants to get involved with the Dirt Hub All British Motocross podcast, we'd love to have a title sponsor. Please contact Paul in his DMs and see if you can help us out with a bit of branding. It would be nice to have your support. So anything else to add, Paul?
Mattis Valan, that's all I say. I said I did predict him at Hawkstone. He's going to be bloody good this year.
Yeah, he's looking strong. I like the look of Yannis Rezilis. I think he shows a line around the corner on one of the some of the video footage I've seen. I was like, yeah, that kid's got it. We could have a serious Yamaha year on on our hands here because I think they've got an awful lot of good riders. The killer is loose in MX2.
Interesting. Well, talking MX2 next week's show, looking forward to that one. But that's it for us for now. It's a bit of a quiet couple of weeks through to rain, but I think we're just about kicking off now into the British motocross season.
Yeah, the calm before the storm. MX2 riders, check your DMs. We'll be chasing you up to join us on next week's podcast. So we'll get somebody arranged. And thanks everybody for listening again. And we'll speak to you next week. See you out there. Take care.